Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 1 of Unlimited. Today, we are talking about what is a life coach? What are the differences between life coaching and therapy and consulting and mentoring? What are the definitions of coaching? What does it mean to be certified? A little bit about the International Coaching Federation and my training program, IPEC, the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. Also, how to find the right person to help you wherever you are at in this journey, and what this does for a business owner and why life coaching is helpful when you are starting a business. So, without further ado, let's get started. Hey there, I'm Valerie Friedlander, Certified Life Business Alignment Coach, and this is Unlimited. This podcast bridges the individual and the societal, scientific and spiritual, positive and negative, nerdy and no, there's just a lot of nerdy. Come on board and let's unlock a life that's as badass as you are. What is life coaching? It's one of the biggest questions that I get when I'm meeting people and we're talking and they're like, what do you do? And I said, oh, I'm a life coach. Well, I hear a lot about life coaches. Like I keep hearing about y'all. Like, what does that actually mean? So we need to talk about that. Life coaching, just like any coaching, we'll start with any coaching. Any coaching is about getting you from where you are right now to where you want to be. So it's about moving you from point A to point B. And I'm going to say that's actually across the board when it comes to coaching. That is what it is. Like whether it's a sports team, which is where I think most of us came in contact with the concept of coaching initially. It's okay, we've got this team and they are here and we want them to win the championship. And that's where we want to go. That's point B. So where we are to where we want to go. And so that's true with like business coaching. It's, hey, we're starting with this business and we want the business to grow to this place. So you want to hire someone who can help you get to that place. Same with life coaching. Life coaching is exactly that. You are having an experience of life in a particular way. Maybe you're overly stressed out, and that's something that a lot of people seek life coaches when life is way too stressful or they're struggling in some way. Probably not in a like, my life is falling apart kind of way, but like I'm overly stressed and I don't really know how to do life in a different way. And so they want a different experience of life. And that's when you would hire a life coach. Then people will ask about like, what's the difference between life coaching and therapy? So this is a little fuzzy and I'm going to give you kind of my general impression, but it really depends on who you talk to and their overall attitudes and their experience and all of that stuff. So for me, having done a lot of therapy myself, having friends who are therapists, what I see is the main difference in other than educational requirements and licensing requirements, it's therapy will dig into the past and do explorations in the past and processing and kind of understanding where certain attitudes or thoughts or behaviors or emotions are coming from and kind of processing through those experiences, doing healing work. With coaching, it's more forward focused. So while there's an acknowledgement of past experiences, we don't really spend a lot of time digging through that stuff. It's more, okay, this is, so like identifying versus understanding, identifying a pattern and then moving forward. There are therapists who also do coaching and do forward-focused work. And then there are coaches that dig more into healing. I know a lot of coaches who do like energy work and that sort of type healing work, but it varies. It really varies. So that's just kind of an overview. Another one is consulting and mentoring. And a lot of times I see there's confusion there. People who actually use the word coach and the words together of life coach, and it's more of mentorship. Like, I've been there, I've done this thing, and I've done what you want to do, and I will show you how to do what I did, or I will help you work with tools to do what I've done. This is something that comes up with like sponsorship in 12-step programs. It's about a sponsor is kind of like a mentor. Like, I've done these steps, and so I'm going to help you do these steps too. Consulting is more of I have an expertise, and I use that expertise to understand what you want and then give you advice and tools for you to use to achieve your goals. Consultants don't usually walk with you through whatever it is. It's more of just a like, here's what you need to do, go do it. So those are the differences. A coach doesn't have to have done what you want to do. Like a life coach, a certified life coach. I'm going to dig more into like kind of the specifics of that in a minute, but it's not necessary. It's more about the process of coaching and knowing how to help people access their own inner wisdom to be able to find solutions to the obstacles, whether they're internal or external obstacles, to find those solutions for themselves. That's how it's a little bit different from consulting. With a coach, they're going to walk with you. So there's accountability involved. With mentorship, it's giving you advice. The kind of coaching that I do, we don't give advice. It's we just ask a lot of questions, which is kind of driven my husband a little crazy sometimes because he's like, would you just tell me what you think? I'm like, but questions are so much more powerful. He's like, no. Anyway, so all right. As far as definitions of coaching, the International Coaching Federation, which is the accrediting body for coaches, which again, not everybody who calls himself a coach is certified or gone through an accredited program. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But the ICF defines coaching as partnering with clients in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. IPEC, which is the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching, I know all the acronyms. Oh my goodness. I remember when my dad first introduced me to acronyms, and I thought they were so funny because they were ones that were like the MAC and SOCME. Yes, there was, I don't remember what it stood for, but anyway, I digress. IPEC, the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching, defines their core energy coaching as a process that helps people tap into their inner purpose and passion and connect that with outer goals and tasks to bring about extraordinary and sustainable results. And so IPEC is where I was trained. They are an ICF accredited program. So personally, I define the way that I coach because while those are the modalities, like the training programs and stuff that I've used, every coach has their own approach and their own personality that they bring into their own dynamics. So for me, the way I define coaching is as a creative and collaborative process that helps clients to tap into their inner wisdom and make conscious, loving decisions that create a life aligned with their best self, maximizing their impact and enjoyment, both in the results as well as the process. So those are all the fun definitions. So let's talk a little bit about what does it mean to be certified, because this is another question that I get because there are plenty of people out there, especially in the online entrepreneur world, where there are people who are business coaches and life coaches and transformational coaches and leadership coaches and whatever word plus coach, basically. Like there's everything. Okay, so then the question is, are you certified? And what does that even mean? And how necessary is it? Okay, so anyone can say they're a life coach. There's no regulation around those two words. There is a regulation, like I said, the International Coaching Federation is an accrediting body, but they picked words that aren't a thing that you have to have specific stuff around, just like like with therapy or psychiatry or any of those other helping modalities. There's more regulation around that, and the words that you use and when you can use them. There isn't that with life coaching. So certification programs also, there are a variety of ways of coaching, and not all certification programs are accredited under the International Coaching Federation. Okay. So yes. So somebody could say that they're a certified life coach, but then you got to ask, what was the program that certified you? It's complicated. We'll get into like, how do you make a decision? Because there are so many factors to consider, but I just want to clarify, because I tend to say that I'm a certified life coach. And so what does that mean? So it means that you've gone through a training program. That's basically what certification means across the board. It means you've gone through some sort of training program that has given you tools to engage a process with your clients. Those who have done a program that is accredited by the International Coaching Federation fall under a particular code of ethics, a set of professional standards, and they have 10 core competencies that you have to adhere to. So those core competencies, which I adhere to, are establishing a coaching agreement, establishing a safe, supportive environment based on mutual respect and trust, having a conscious, present presence in the relationship, active listening, powerful questioning, direct communication, creating awareness by integrating and accurately evaluating multiple pieces of information, designing actions for growth to most effectively lead to agreed upon coaching results, planning and goal setting, and managing progress and accountability. So those are the 10 core competencies that the ICF has put forward that you have to know and follow. And there's a lot of details behind them, which I am not going to go into here, but you can look them up if you really want to, and I'll have that in the show notes. So as far as being certified, it's kind of like being certified organic, right? Like there are plenty of really ethically produced produce that has not gone through the whole process of getting the stamp of organicness. And that's kind of the way it is with coaching. So for example, I have not gone through the test or signed up with the ICF to get their associate professional coach certification or any of those things. I probably have enough hours. I know I could pass the test, but I haven't done that because honestly, it hasn't been something that my clients have cared a lot about at this point. Anyway, that's what the whole certification thing is about. So just if you're interested, there are ethics, there are codes, there's competencies. I think it matters in that respect because it means that the quality of the training and the understanding and the process has investment behind it. But is it required to be able to be of service and really help people? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Okay, so just a little bit about IPEC, the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching. So their energy leadership model, it's one of the foundational pieces that I utilize, and there will be more on that in an upcoming episode. Yay. In short, its basis is the idea that on a quantum level, we're all energy, and that how we show up is how we lead both ourselves and others. And so that rather than coaching people through their problems, I focus on coaching their energy so that they're more able to find aligned and effective solutions for them and achieve their goals more quickly and with more enjoyment in the process. I always start with clients with the Energy Leadership Index Assessment, which I will also have a link to in the show notes. And while it might sound a little woo, it's actually really scientifically based because they have an assessment that has gone through all of the processes of being a scientifically based assessment. It has also been statistically shown to reflect that both with that assessment and then with the core energy coaching process, that people's life satisfaction has significantly increased, statistically speaking, because they can study it, because there's an assessment. So I kind of think that's cool because, again, I'm a little bit of a nerd. Now, the other thing that comes up for people is, well, how do I find the right person to help me? How do I know what I need to be even looking for? And most people just kind of like, oh, that person sounds good, or this person pushed my buttons, and I feel like if I don't have them, then I'm lost, kind of thing, because that happens a lot where people play on fears and things like that. That is so, I don't like doing that. That is not my thing at all. I really believe that coaching is about expediting the awareness process and the process of moving forward. It expedites it. It makes it more enjoyable. And it's not necessary, really, but it makes a huge difference. So finding someone who's a good fit for you when you're looking for something is, one, knowing what you want. I often have people get on a call with me and they'll be like, I'll say, well, why are we on a call? What got you to reach out to me? And the answer is something like, I want less stress. I want to stop yelling. I'm just stressed out all the time. I don't even know what I want. I feel lost. I feel like I'm missing something. I'm not doing what I want to do. I'm not as present as I want to be. I could go on. Anyway, those questions of, I don't know, will often be covering what is really desired. And so we need to go past the surface of what you don't want, because again, that's where naturally our brain goes right to what we don't want. It goes to the pain. That's a biological thing that our brain does. It wants to protect us from pain, whether it's emotional pain or physical pain or whatever kind of pain, it potentially perceived potential pain. It jumps in and is like, nope, we don't do that. Like, run away. But because the focus is on that, it's on avoiding that or getting away from that instead of on creating what you want. So I love the saying, where your attention goes, your energy flows. So taking that moment to go, okay, well, if I didn't have that, if that wasn't true anymore, what would I have? What would be true? And looking for that. And then finding someone who resonates with that has a way of showing up, an energy, a personality, an approach that you resonate with. So you feel like you could trust them. You feel like there's someone that you could talk to and take action with, and that's helping you step into your best self instead of always triggering your doubts and your fears and your concerns. The other thing is also looking at the process. So will they be able to help you get what you want, both in the way you want to feel in life, as well as the goals that you want to achieve, as well as looking at what is the process like? And is that a process that I resonate with? Is that a process that I feel will be helpful to me? Or is there even a process? Because sometimes there isn't a process. It's actually one of the things that I have a number of people who will come to me after they've done a lot of talk therapy, and they're like, I've talked things out. I've rehashed things. I understand why I do all the things, but I don't know how to not do them. Like, I have all the information in my head, but I don't know how to actually connect that to my heart, to action. I feel like I'm constantly fighting my own reactions. And so recognizing that some of that is about the process isn't a fit anymore and needing a different process. Those are the kinds of things to find out. A lot of coaches will do a free session so that you can get on a call and actually talk with them and explore what they're like and whether you resonate with them and would want to talk to them weekly or more or less, whatever your plan is. I like to know when we start working together, again, what do you want and where are you now? So I always start with people doing the Energy Leadership Index assessment because that helps me know based on their goals and their energy, which is essentially the lens that they're perceiving the world through. So we can really see like what are the strengths and what are the ways that their perception may be holding them back. When we can identify those things, we can get a sense of what that process is going to look like, how long it might take to create the shifts that they're looking to make. And once we have a sense of that, then we're walking through what I call the full life ownership process, which is identifying the vision and then in creating a strategy for taking action and exploring, and then bringing in, okay, well, did you take action? If you didn't, what stopped you? If you did, what are you taking away from that? What might you want to do differently? What worked, what didn't, both in terms of moving you forward, as well as the way you experienced that, because you can push yourself forward all you want, but that's probably not going to work as well as you want it to. So knowing that everyone is different, we do that envisioning, designing, engaging, and assessing. And then because we start with that assessment, we always have that initial point of reference. The goal is that you are acting in ways that are congruent with your deepest values and your fondest hopes for yourself and for the impact that you make in the world. Because we are what we do. So what we do is fueled by our emotions that are fueled by our thoughts, 95% of which are subconscious. So when we do that assessment, we can kind of bring more of those patterns to consciousness, and then we know what it's going to take to move forward. I find personally that we need around 3 months approximately. It might be weekly. It might be bi-weekly, depending on how fast you want to move and what we're moving. What's that point A? What's that point B kind of thing. But it's about 3 months because that process allows you to get the insights and the awareness to start taking action, then deal with life. That second month is usually like life comes in because divine sense of humor. It's like things like, all right, I want to be more patient. And then the universe is like, okay, here are all these opportunities to practice patience. Like, oh, thanks. Those sorts of things come up, especially in month 2. And then navigating those with tools, with intentionality, with insights. And then that 3rd month is really integrating them so that there's a sustainable practice. My goal when I'm coaching people is that you don't need me forever, that you're engaging your internal and external obstacles in such an intentional way, uncovering the underlying patterns that are playing out, that are getting you what you are getting now. So shifting those consciously, you see that process. And then as those things come up down the line after we've finished working together, you're better able to engage those because you've done it and you've learned how to do it really well. That is always my goal, is that you don't actually need me forever. So what people tend to say when they work with me is that they feel less stressed, they feel more empowered. And I'll probably talk more about that word empowerment in another episode. But when people say that they empower people, I'm like, no. To be empowered means you are empowered within yourself. I can't make you empowered. I can help you access empowerment, but I can't empower you. Anyway, tapping into your own power and your own ability to make those conscious, loving choices in the moment as you move forward, so you don't get stuck in that indecision that eats so much energy. So that's a big thing that a lot of my clients get from our work together. They also have greater focus. They're more decisive. They take action more easily, and they build the confidence, as I mentioned before, to do that even after we're done working together because they helped define that process. They did that process. That is what life coaching is. And one of the other questions is like, why is that valuable in business? A lot of times people gravitate towards business coaches and they don't think, oh, I'm starting a business. I should get a life coach. They think, oh, I should get a business coach because I don't know how to start a business. So having somebody to mentor them is naturally the go-to. And I got to say, that is exactly what I did. Even with all of my training, that is exactly what I did several times. So if that's you, it's all good. We all do that. What I have found coming back to my own, going about it the long way around, is that success, business success, while there are certain things, strategies and tools that people can teach you, there's such a plethora of ways of approaching business and ways that people have been successful that there's just no one size fits all. And what happens a lot of times when you look for someone to mentor you in business, they're going to go, okay, this is where I am. These are the things that I've learned. I'm going to teach you how to avoid those things and do these other things. And their way might not be your way. And so taking the time to really dig in and understand what is your way, what are the things that you want to create in the world? How do you want to show up to it? I mean, kind of basically going to that envision structure where I usually ask in that space of, what do you want to experience life like? How do you want to show up? And what impact do you want to make? And answering those things, you can start to find places to experiment, to create those things, and do it in a way that's aligned with your values and the person that you want to be, instead of the person that you think you should be, or the business that you think you should have, or the way you think you should. Anytime you start hearing shoulds or start feeling shoulds, those are red flags to me, because they say that there's something that could easily pull out of alignment. Like at first, there might be a should that actually fits, but it's one of those slippery slopes that you take one step into a should, even if it's in the same direction as you're going, and suddenly you're sliding right down that hill because the energy behind it, because it was based in a should. That's why I find that life coaching is so important as you get started with a business, or even if you're looking to transition in a business or realign in a business. Because when you're shoulding a business, it's so easy to end up in burnout, because when you're pushing yourself to do things that don't fit for you, that aren't aligned for you, it's so much harder to do all of the things. So when you have that clarity of yourself, and not to mention being an entrepreneur brings up all of your stuff. Like, you can't hide behind anybody else. You can't hide behind a boss saying, oh, you have to do it like this, and this is the way things are done. Like, you can't, it's all you. So any obstacle, any failure, anything, it's all you. So it is naturally going to bring up all of the imposter syndrome, inner critic, the emotional reactivity, your stress response, which we're also going to talk about in another episode. Dealing with stress, because that's a thing. Oh my goodness. Stress in business, because you're growing. When you are growing, like if you think about like birthing a child, when you're growing a child in your body, you are under stress. You can't create without some level of stress. But if you have too much, or if the stress becomes the focus and dominates things, instead of creating what you want, then you're focusing on what you don't want and creating more of what you don't want. So you're not actually moving as easily towards point B, because you are so busy fighting A. Anyway, it's just harder. So that's what life coaching is about. It is really about helping you be your best self so that you can achieve your goals with more ease. So you can get from where you are right now to where you want to go in a way that's enjoyable, because life is a journey, not a destination, and all of those fun sayings. And so that is what it's all about. I hope that was helpful. I would love to hear if you have additional questions about coaching, anything that I didn't cover that you would like to know more about. If you have any insights that came up from this, I would love for you to share them with me. I can always do another episode talking a little bit more about life coaching or answer your questions in another episode. I am happy to do that, and I love to hear from you. So definitely shoot me a message and let me know what your thoughts, what your questions, whatever it is. I love to hear from you. So definitely do that. And I will see you on the next episode. Bye. Thanks for listening. I so appreciate you being here. If you got something out of today's episode, please share it. Leave me a review, take a screenshot, and post it on social with a shout out to me. Send it to a friend or, all of the above. Want to hang out more? Join me on Instagram. Or better yet, get on my mailing list to make sure you don't miss out on anything. And remember, your possibilities are as unlimited as you are. Allow yourself to shine, my friend. The world needs your light. See you next time.